Welcome to All Things Anna J. My travel, my business, my life. Here we have our waist beads. When you get them, one end will probably be exposed with just string, while the other end will have the beads all the way down to the end. What you need to do is go to the end that has no beads and scoot them down just enough so that you can have some empty space on the end that has the beads. So now you have two ends with exposed string that you can use to tie. So now that you have your two ends empty of beads, you want to wrap them around your waist. And I always recommend tying your beads at the hip because this is where it'll be most comfortable. You see how I can scoot these beads and they're not tight, they're not hurting her. She's in no pain. If you come up here and you tie them super tight to sit up here on the waist, when you go to sit down, when you menstruate, when you laugh, they'll be too tight and you'll be uncomfortable and ready to cut them off. So I always recommend tying them down on the hip with a little bit of looseness so that your customer or yourself can be comfortable. Now, because we've made some exposed space on the end, we can scoot these waist beads down and have where they will be tying be exposed. There will be no beads right here or right here so that we can tie them again with some give. So I am going to take my strands, wrap it around, and just tie two regular knots so that the bead is secure. At this step, I will cut off maybe leaving 4 inches of string on the waist bead. This is important so that you have enough string to grip as you tie it. This leftover, feel free to give it to your client to tie it on their ankle. That's what I do. So now, the important piece. I've tied 2 knots. This is on. I am going to take half of one side. So this was one side, and I am taking half of that and combining it with the other side, making what looks like 3 pieces, but I'm really turning it back into 2 just with half of one side on the other side. And I'm going to tie 2 more knots. Oh, it's fine. Now, I will go back and do the same thing. So you see, now this is the 2 strings. One is smaller, one is thicker. I'm going to pull from the thicker side, chopping it in half, and tie 2 more regular knots. At this point, I do a pull test. I hold my client and I pull it and make sure that it goes nowhere. If it passes that test and doesn't slip off, which it will because we tied multiple layers of knots, I cut off, leaving the knots. I cut right under the knots. Clients say, oh, but what about this little piece of string that's sticking? And I tell them, twist it right to the back. And now you have your waist bead. Thank you so much and have a great day.